Okay, in this video I just wanted to run through the Monochrome LiveView feature on Panasonic Lumix cameras and sort of who it's for and if you might find it useful. And it's quite a good feature because it can be used really for photography and for video. So what we'll do is we'll jump in, we'll take a quick look at it, and I'll kind of explain, when you might want to use it and why. So if you come into the camera, in the sidebar you just want to be on the cog. So we've come in through the menu, come into the cog, second one down, and then you can see here we've got in the, the fifth one down, the camera icon, we've got Monochrome LiveView here. And if we switch it on, you can see now everything on the camera is in black and white. And it's kind of important to know that this isn't a monochrome profile, it's not a picture profile. So when we record things or we take a picture, so like if we just record, you can see the screen stays black and white whilst we're recording. But then once we come into playback, it's just in colour. So it's not a picture profile, you're not burning this into the actual footage or into your photos. It's purely a compositional tool. So for photography it can be quite good because you can essentially take all of the distraction of colour out of the image and you're just focusing on the subject, and it sort of gives you a bit of a cleaner or a more simplified image to look at what the subject is and maybe what's in the frame and what could be detracting from it. And you've got things like the guidelines, which we covered in another video, so I'll link to that. But outside of that, it can also be a really good tool for video, because what you've also got is the ability to, we've talked in another video about focus peaking, and again, I'll link to the video about focus peaking, but this can be really good because when we focus on things, you really, I don't know how well you can see that in there, but you can see my focus peaking set to red. So when I've got the focus peaking running, you can really see it well on there, which works very nicely for this because focus peaking sometimes can be quite hard to see, but when we've got it set to black and white, it's very easy to see. So for for video or photography and you're really trying to nail an actual focus point, it's really good because you can actually see where the peaking is, and it's not sort of muddled into the frame. I mean, there's probably no perfect setup for the colour. I have it usually blue or red, the focus peaking, but there are quite a lot of different colours that you can pick from. And again, that's sort of covered in that other video. It'll be whatever your eyes find best, to sort of detract from what's there. And just on the kind of that simplified black and white output, it's it works really well for focus peaking. So like I said, I feel like it's a good tool for both kind of photographers and and videographers, because you can kind of get something out of that, even if it's just composing shots. And then it's easy to toggle on and off. You could set it to a shortcut on the camera. So say if you're using the GH6, you could toggle it to a front button, which again we've done shortcut toggles in another video. I'll link to that. But it's just a nice tool that you can kind of use, and especially if you're using one of the older Lumix cameras, and I wouldn't say the AF is bad on this. It's DFD autofocus, but it's some of the best that Lumix have done, and I don't think it's too bad if you're using things like the focus limiter with it. But if you rely solely on manual focus, again, it can be really useful for that because you've got that nice output for it. The only thing you won't get, a lot of people that are using manual focus or doing video in general professionally, they'll be using a monitor on the top. It's worth mentioning that Monochrome LiveView won't output to the monitor, so you're only going to see it on the back of the screen. You're not going to see it on the top. And if you're trying to use it in sort of lower light environments and you want to use it with features like night mode, which again covered in another video, you can't use night mode and Monochrome LiveView. It's one or the other, so you'll have to make like a decision there on which you want to use. But yeah, it's a nice little feature, particularly if you use focus peaking. So if it's not something you've checked out on the camera, then it's worth a look and see if it's something that you might be able to use in your workflow. But yeah, hopefully this has helped. If it has, give the video a like. If you want to see more videos about Lumix cameras, check out the playlist on this channel and please subscribe.